our Second Amendment, it's not just words on parchment. It's not some frivolous suggestion from our founding fathers to be interpreted by whim. It's going to be people like you and me. That's who their check will be. That's what they're after. The names of good, decent people all over this great country who happen to own a firearm. To go into a federal database for universal registration of every lawful gun owner in America. That's their answer to criminal violence? Criminalize 100 million law-abiding gun owners in a private transfer? Build a list of all the good people? As if that would somehow make us safer from violent criminals and homicidal maniacs? That's their answer? Are they insane? What's the point of registering lawful gun owners anyway? So newspapers can print those names and addresses for gangs and criminals to access? I mean, you know that's happened before. So that a list can be hacked by foreign entities like the Chinese, who recently hacked Pentagon computers. So a list can be handed over to the Mexican government that, oh, by the way, they've already requested that list from our government. In the end, there are only two reasons for government to create that federal registry of gun owners: to tax them or to take them. No gun owner, no rational thinking American believes that will have any effect on violent criminals, and they're right. It won't make anybody safer anywhere. You know, it's troubling and it's saddening how quickly this whole debate has deteriorated from what would truly help make people safer into what has proven to be a decades-old agenda of those bent on destroying the Second Amendment. They've offered nothing new, nothing helpful in making our schools, our streets, or one child in this country safer. Senator Dianne Feinstein admitted that she had her gun ban bill ready to go a year ago, tucked away in a drawer, just waiting for the right opportunity. Really? Waiting for an unspeakable tragedy to push her political agenda? Is there any wonder why most Americans don't trust Congress? They're simply not serious about making our kids or our country safer. If they were serious, they'd arrest, they'd prosecute, and they would imprison felons with guns, gangs with guns, and drug dealers with guns, as many as they could find. That's what they do. And that's what the American public wants. But they don't do that. What they do instead is they let them go free. So let's talk for just a minute about this thing called sequestration. Now, I run the NRA, not an economic think tank, but I watch the news, and I see that instead of rational belt-tightening, the first thing the government thinks to do, according to law enforcement officials, is let thousands of criminal illegals out of jail. You know what? Normal people all over this country think that's crazy. It's as if sanity itself has been sequestered in Washington. We have all these federal gun laws with stiff prison time, except that the entire criminal justice system says we're not going to do that. If federal prosecutors say, just kidding, normal law-abiding people all over this country think that's crazy. And nowhere in this country does that apply any more than Chicago. Listen to this. Just listen to this. Federal firearms prosecutions for 2012 dropped by almost 30% from their peak in 2004. Federal firearms prosecutions in Chicago dropped 45% from 2010 to 2012. President Obama's hometown ranks dead last in firearms prosecutions, 90 out of 90 federal jurisdictions. Out of 76,000 prohibited persons flagged by the instant check system, 13, only 13, were successfully prosecuted nationwide. Vice President Biden, and you heard him say it, he said they don't have time to prosecute. Excuse me, don't have time to prosecute prohibited people trying to illegally get a gun? But the Vice President does have time to offer advice to women threatened by an intruder. Yeah. I'm going to quote him directly. Just walk out and put that double-barreled shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house. The Vice President, I know you're smiling, but gosh, the Vice President of the United States actually told women facing an attack to just empty their shotguns into the air. Honestly, have they lost their minds over at the White House? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. No doubt the violent predators would love to face a woman armed with a shotgun that's empty. Well, Mr. Vice President, and you feel the same way when I'm going to say it. For 4 decades, you've enjoyed the armed protection of Capitol Police and Secret Service officers, all while trying to destroy the Second Amendment rights of the rest of us. So when it comes to that right, sir, you keep your advice, we'll keep our guns.